This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning. So, today we just have gone through Bitnami installation, Bitnami subversion installation. So we install it first, and once that is installed, so where is it? So let me just. So this is our subversion, and so what was the repository path? Slash repo 12, I guess, right? Yes, repo 12. Yeah. So that was the repository path where repository is installed. And where is your subversion folder? Root subversion 12, right? Now, so if I want to restart my subversion, how to restart it? So this is a step. Okay, using this step, we just restart it. So that dot slash ctl script dot sh and then restart. And also next to that, we just mentioned whether you like to restart Apache or if you like to restart subversion. Now, what if I want to restart both? I want to restart Apache as well as subversion. Then yes. So just dot slash control script dot sh and then restart. So both will be restarted. Subversion was installed at port number 3693. Fine. And by the default port number is 3690, and HTTP port number is default port number is 80, but we have installed it on 84. Right. So now if config get that IP address. So this is IP address, and how can I access that repository through browser? IP address, and then Apache port number was 84, and then repo 12. There is your repository. And after that, did we do a checkout or not? Yes. So how did we do a checkout? So what was the command to do a checkout? So go to command prompt. And SVN checkout your repository log. So once you do it, then you have your repository checked out. We already had a checkout, right? Yesterday. There we have a repository. Fine. You want me to do a checkout again? Okay, we can do a checkout, but anyway, we have a copy. Okay. But if when you do just run this command, you'll be having a copy created. And what do we call that copy? Working copy. Yes, working copy or local repository. Right. So, and in my local repository, so we started creating files and then committing it. How did we commit it? So let's say, for example, let's say in my project folder, I'm creating a file. Let's say some file, okay, some file1.txt. So how do you commit it? Yeah, how to commit it? So first, so make sure first you are in local repository, right? So once you are in local repository, then only we can run these commands, right? So now where is it? Let's indeed right and change my path. Okay. Now, are we in repository or not? Current working copy. So what is our directory? Repository. Now we are in working copy. Now, so tell me, how do I commit that file? SVN. Add it or not? So file has to be added first. Once the file is added, then we start committing it. Is it clear? Fine. So let's add it. How to add it? SVN add file name. But look at my folder name. I'm in repo 12, is it? Now, but whereas our file is in repo 12 plus project, and there is your file. Now tell me what you enter next. SVN add, right? See, can I mention something like file 1? No, why? Yes, because the file is in project and there is your file 1. So mention the path of that file. Okay, so that you can do it, or else you can change your directory to project. There you can start adding your file. That's another way. Okay, so let's try that. Now it is added. Okay, so let's commit it. SVN commit -m and double quotations. Let's say file 1 added. There, now that is added. So is the file has been committed or not? Let's check this out. Revision file and project folder, where we have file. So this is how you commit your files. Okay. Yesterday we are seeing how to create files, also how to create folders and then committing it. So today we'll just look into how to modify the files and how do you commit it. Now moving on to that now, let's modify a file. So let's move on to modifications for today. Let's modify files and also we remove files, and then if possible we'll see can we restore the files or not. Okay, so let's say a file is removed. If the file is removed, can I restore it? Yes. If so, how do we restore it? Okay, so we'll see that. So let's start with so there we have our repository. Let's take a file and the file is hello.java. Let's modify a file first. I'm writing some source code in this file. So class hello something. Some lines are added. Okay, save that file. And then let's commit it. So how do you commit it? So let's start with first, always it's a good practice to check the status. Check the status first. What is the status? Yeah, M stands for modified. Okay, file is modified. And let's go with, do I need to add it? Already file is added. That's correct. So we don't add it every time. So that means we add the files only when the file is created, but not when the file is modified. But when you go to Git, it's quite opposite to it. The file will be added even if it is modified. Okay, because Git follows a different kind of architecture. So what is that architecture? We'll see that when we start with Git, we'll understand the architecture. So now SVN commit it. Commit -m and then let's say so file modified. Okay, so but I'm not committing it, so I don't want to commit it. Why? So before I commit it, so I just realized that the changes I have done are something wrong. Okay, so assume that, so where is that file? There is your file, and file has about hundreds of lines. Let's say the file has about 100 lines, and in that file I have modified about 10 lines. So once the file is modified, then after it is saved, is the file is saved or not? Yes, the file is saved, is it? Right, we save that file. But before I commit it, then I realize that the changes I have done are not correct. So instead of modifying some other lines, I have modified something else. So those are wrong modifications I have done. If those are wrong modifications, then what we do? Do we commit the changes? Do we commit the changes? No, we don't commit the changes because the changes are itself is wrong. So if the changes are wrong, so how are you going to commit the changes? Okay. Now what is the solution then? So simply revert all the changes I have done. What is reverting means? Yes, I don't want my changes to be available in this file. Okay, so I want exactly the file as it was before the file is modified. Okay, so that is what we call reverting it. So revert the changes. How to revert the changes? Now, so we have a command now. The command is SVN revert. So SVN revert will revert the changes, and let's enter. Sorry, SVN revert and then file name. So what is that file? Hello.java file. Let's enter. The file is reverted. And are the changes deleted? Yes, now the changes are deleted. So that means they are reverted. Okay. So one second. So see, we just modified that file and then we reverted. Correct? But so did I commit that file? So what I mean is, let's say just modify that file. Let's again add some source code. Something is added again, save it. Now, what is the file status? It's modified, right? Now, so, but is the file committed? No, right? We are not committed the changes. So file is modified, but it was not committed. Okay, then. So can I revert the changes? Yes. So now the condition is file is modified, but not committed. Yes, that can be reverted. So how to revert it? What is the command? SVN revert and then file status, file name. I mean. Okay. So that is how you revert your changes. Sorry. Hello.java. Now it is reverted. Clear? So the file, if the file is modified but not committed, yes, that can be reverted. But if the file is committed, can I use this command? Can I use the SVN revert command? No, I cannot. Because SVN revert works only for the files which are not committed. If the files are committed, so you cannot use that revert command. Okay, now you understand the what is revert command does. So revert command revert the changes if the changes are not committed. If the changes are committed, you cannot revert the changes. That is what we're going to look into next. Okay. Fine. Yeah. What is the question?
Yeah, the same question might be also.
Yeah, it is answered or not? Fine. Yeah. Fine. So let's go back to this. Now let's modify the file. Save it. And then, so let's start with SVN. What's the status? Modify. SVN. Commit. Let's say, so hello file modified. So committed to revert revision 6. So back to revision. Yeah, revision 6. There is your file. So we have changes. Now, let's revert that file. Let's go with reverting it. Can I revert it? No. Why? It's committed, right? Yes. Is it reverted? No. If that is reverted, so you would see a message, like a message something like, so hello file is reverted, but there is no message, and moreover, check that file. So nothing is reverted. We still have that code. Okay. Let's try the same thing again. Let's modify the file. Add some source code here. Save it. Now this time, let's go with SVN status again. What's the status? Modified. Now commit it. So hello file modified. Is it reverted? Sorry, is it committed? Yes. Now can I revert it? SVN revert. SVN revert. And then, so file name cannot be reverted. Fine. So once changes are committed, you cannot revert the changes. Remember this. Okay? Right. But is there any possibility, even if the file is committed, can you revert the changes or can you restore the changes? Say, changes cannot be reverted if they are committed. But what we can do, we can restore it. So restoration and the reverting are different. What's the difference? What is restore and what is revert? Yeah, restore is nothing but so simply just say replace the file. So take the previous version of the file and then try to replace it. Whereas reverting is, so the file changes are not committed, but it is still modified state. You can revert the changes. That's a difference. Now let's see how can we replace the changes or how can we restore the changes. Right? Now, if you want to restore or replace the changes, we have done. Now, from where you're going to restore it? Revisions. So what is the current revision is? Revision 7. Now I don't want the file from revision 7. In fact, I want the file to be restored from revision 5. Because in revision 6, revision 7, changes been modified. Right? I want that file has to be restored before it was modified. I want to restore it from revision 5, not from revision 6 either. But revision 6 also, some changes were modified. But how do you know what changes are modified? See, you have 7 revisions, that's okay. But what if you have like 700 revisions? How do you know what file was modified and when this was modified? If you know what file is modified and when this was modified, we can restore it. If you don't know, how are you going to restore it? Clear? Now, so to be simple, I want to look at the changes I have done so far. How many revisions we have so far? What changes are done in those revisions? So how do you do that? By comparisons. How are you going to compare it? How we compare it? So if you know the logs, then you'll be able to compare it, right? Clear? Fine. So what exactly log is? Or you can say if you know the revision numbers, if you can see all the list of revisions, right? Can I see what file is modified, what change is modified or not? Now I want to look at all the revisions, or you can say I want to look at all the logs I have done so far. How many revisions we have so far? 7. How do you know, or how do you check that? So what changes are done? And so here we can do that with the help of command, which is SVN log. SVN log displays all the logs or else all the revisions so far committed. Now SVN log. But how come we have only revision 1? So how many revisions you see? Or how many logs you see? Revision 1. But how many logs are available? How many revisions available so far? Okay. Why we don't have other revisions? Why we don't have other revisions? Okay. Or else, let me put that question in other way. In my working copy, so what is my current revision number? In my local repository, what is my current revision number? 7 1. Why 1? Sorry? We did not update it. Okay. That's correct. So we are not updated. So fine. Anyway, let me just give you an answer for this. Yeah. So whenever you do commit, the files will be committed, right? So whenever we do commit it, so let me just go through it. Now, for example, I'm committing it. Now, once you commit it, so what happens? The data will be committed or not? Files will be saved on server. Okay. Next, what else will happen? A log will be created. Fine. So, see, look at here. I'm committing a file. Let's say I'm committing a file, something like this. Now, so the file will be available on server or not once it's been committed. Server repository. Okay. So what else will happen after committing the file? I mean, while committing the file. So data will be committed, data will be saved, and then what else? A log will be created. What is a log? A log is nothing but revision number. So look at here. This is my log or not? In that log, how many use? What do you see? Revision number and date and time. Fine. See the date and time, and then also we see something, some message. So where these commits are taking place? Are the commits taking place on local repository or server repository? Server repository. Okay. So why not local? See, commit is the only one command which will be executed on server side, and any other command apart from commit will be executed on local repository. See, why commit is on server? Because I want to save my changes or not. Yes, I want to save my changes on server repository. So how that is possible? With the help of commit command. So commit is the only one command which will be executed on server side. Now when you commit it, files will be committed. Okay, and then what else? Log. Where this file, this log will be created, is it on local or server? Server. Okay, so now yesterday when we did a checkout, SVN checkout, and then our repository URL. Okay, so at the time of when it was checked out, what was the revision number? Revision 1 or not? That's initial repository, revision 1. So now tell me, what is my current working revision number locally? Locally. See, after that we have done many commits, right? So we have, let's say, revision 2, revision 3, until revision 7. We have done so many commits, 7 commits so far. Okay. So tell me, what is my current revision number on local? Revision 1 or 7? 1. Why not 7? Yes. So commits will take place on server side or not? Yes. So commit will happen on server, not local. Since commits will take place on server side, so all the revisions will be created on server only. So that is the reason my local repository division is only still 1. Okay, fine. So, but how do I get all the logs from server? Sorry, update. Correct. So we update it. Now, what is update? What is update? So, in what case we use that update command? What update does? See, very simple. The name itself says it's updating via the repository. So what it does? So all the changes which we don't have local repository. So getting all the changes from server to local. So that is what we call updating. So let's update it. Or you can say, so synchronizing our repository or merging our repository same as your server repository. That is what we call update. Okay, but let's update it. Now we are up to date. Since I'm up to date, Can I see all the logs or not? Now I'm able to see all the logs. There we have revision 7. Okay, just 1 second. SVN log. Now we have all these revisions. Okay. Now check this out now. So revision 7 and all these revisions, you can see those revisions are committed on, that's revision 7, that's the date and time. But what is the date and time? Like 6 March 2020. Why this is 6 March? So look at the date, today's date is like, so 11th March. Why it's showing 6 March? Yes, these timestamps are from server. So why server? Again, the same reasons. Logs are getting created on server. So timestamps also will be on server. Okay, fine. So then also you see some message here. Now what is that message? Hello file modified. So how are we able to see that message? So why see that message? Why not something else? Yes. So while commenting it, so we just look at here. So whenever you comment it, we just get that message, right? It gives that message. So what is that message? Something like SVN commit and -m in double quotations, we give some message. So that is a message is getting recorded and in your revisions also. So that's why. So message, whatever you mention in your repositories is important. Okay. So now tell me from which revision you're going to restore your file. If I back to revision 6, can I get the file, hello.java file, before it was modified or not? What? Because in revision 6, revision 7, revision 6, in both revisions, file was modified. Okay. And in back to revisions 5, I can get that file again. Fine. Let's try that. Now, how we can get back to revision 5? We are changing our revisions or not? No. So how we can change our revisions? Using SVN update. Okay. But SVN update, and then to what revision? Revision 5. SVN up and then -R5. What does it mean? Updating our revision to 5. And previously I was running this command, right? So what was that command? SVN update. Now I'm running this command, SVN update -R5. What's the difference between these two commands? SVN update is nothing but updating your repository and as up to date. So whatever the current revision is available on server, we are updating our local repository same as our server revision number. Whereas SVN update R5, nothing but updating to a particular revision. Okay. So that's the difference. Let's update to revision 5. Let me just do a screen and go with SVN update R5. Okay. Now there we have R5. So revision 5. So that is my file. Open that file. So the file is blank or not? Empty file? Yes. So this is the file. Before the file was modified, that was a file. Okay. Now how to restore it? We'll see that anyway. So before that, we'll just move on to some more examples. So we'll just look into how to remove files. Okay. So once we look into how to remove files, then we'll back to this. Again, we'll switch back to our previous revisions. We'll try to restore the files. Okay.
What if there are more number of files in revision? Division 7 there are 10 files. Division 5 there are only 5 files.
So you want to restore only one file. So of course we can do it. See, this is, we are not restored yet. I just have shown you how to switch back to revisions. But did we restore that file? What is restoring file means? Make sure this file is available on your server plus latest revisions. Okay, fine. Let me just go through the step and we'll be back to that. Fine. So this is the file, right? Now, what is my current revision number is? Revision file locally. On server, it is revision 7. Revision 7. Now, so let me take you through the concept how to restore files. So this is, we are not restored that files here. I just have shown you an example how to switch back to revisions, how to change revisions. I'm not showing you how to restore it. Anyway, we'll go through it now. So now we'll just start with how can we restore the files now. So let's start with, so what are our revision now? Our revision is SVN update R5. Now we have revision 5. So for example, you are a developer too, and you want to have that same file. Or else rest of all the developers want to have the same file before the file was modified. How can they have it? You're all developers, you want to have that file. Now how can you have it? From server only? See, all the files must be only accessed from the server. So now on my server, what's the current revision is? Revision 7. Now you want to access that file from revision 7 only. But how you'll be able to access? But in revision 7, our file is up to date. That means our file is changed. How can I get back the previous version? Okay, so I want to go back to revision 5, restore the file into our latest revision, which is revision 8. Then the file, whatever other developers are looking for, now the file is available in revision 8, so that all the developers, once the repository is updated, they can have that file available on their local repository. Am I clear? Understand? So is the point clear? Fine. So to be simple, I want that file has to be restored into latest revisions. That's it. So that all rest of all the developers can access the same file. Now, so how we can commit the file which is available in revision 5? How we can commit that to latest revision, which is revision 8? Okay, fine. Let's do it. So firstly, before we start that, let me just go through one example here. Okay. Let's make 2 basic points. These are 2 important points. Now, so what are these points? So when you talk about any repository, remember these 2 basic points. Now, what are they? Your local repository is up to date. And so the other point is no data loss. No data loss on local repository. So whenever you try to do, so restore the files, whenever you try to do version control, can we call this concept as version controlling or not? Okay, what is version controlling? Switch? Yeah, switching between revisions. That means we have the control of the revisions or not. We can switch to any revisions anytime. Yes, that is what we call version control. So while we do version control, remember these 2 basic points. So your local repository always up to date, and moreover, there should not be any data loss on developer side. Say for example, I'm updating my repository. Am I going to lose the data? See, as a developer, let's say some files been modified. I just modified some files, but did I commit it? Let's say I have not committed. I modified files, but I have not committed. So before committing, I'm updating my files. Then am I going to lose the data? So Now, so that should never happen. Simply remember it. So there won't be any data loss from the developer side. So remember these two basic points. If you remember these two basic points, we can work with any repository. Okay. Or else you should know, so where exactly and what exactly command you should run next. So if you remember these 2 points, then you will be able to understand all the commands you need to run. Okay. So moving on to now, first, take the first point. Is my local repository up to date? Am I up to date? No. So why? Or how do you know? Yeah. So your local repository revision is revision 5. And on server, it's revision 7. So we are not up to date. Since we are not up to date, so what do? SVN update. Okay, we have updated now. But if we have updated, then I'm able to see that latest file or not?
Yes.
This latest file. But I don't want the latest file. I want to restore the file from revision 5. But according to our basic rule, your repository has to be updated. Is it clear? Is it clear? Fine. So let's again back to that. SVN update R5. Now, so since I must follow these basic 2 rules, then what I'm going to do, so I just take a backup of that file. I just copy that file. Is it empty file or not? File from revision 5? Yes. And then take that file, copy that file, and let's take a backup of that file. So you can take a backup to any path, that's your choice. Now, so take a backup. Now backup has been taken. Now, since the backup has been taken of that file, then back to that same rule. So your local repository always up to date. SVN update. Now I'm up to date. So once you are up to date, so you can start back to your file, whatever the file has been taken a backup. So back to that file, copy that, and then I'm going to place it in this file. Copy that. So copy, replace. Now we have the file or not? Now look at that file. Empty file. Is it clear? So just simply take a backup of it, and then once you take a backup, you update your local repository, and again just copy that file into your working file. So now tell me, what is the status of the file? What's the status? Is the file modified? Go with SVN comment, and then let's say file restore. Okay, and check that repository now, server repository, revision 8, refresh. So the file is again same as it was in revision 5. Is it clear? So is the file is restored or not? Yes, the file is restored. So it's very easy. So whenever you just want to take a file, first of all check the revision numbers first. So what's your revision number? So from where you want to restore that file, check the revision number first. Once revision number has been taken, and then take a file backup, and then you update your local repository. After that, you can restore your file. So restoring file in the sense, make sure the file is available on your server repository in latest revision. So is it my latest revision or not? That is what we call restoring. So SVN update and something like SVN update revision 4. This is not what we call restore. Restoring in the sense, make sure the file is available on server latest revisions. That is what we call restore. Okay, clear? So that is how we just taken a simple example. So that's your first scenario, actually, an easy scenario. Now we'll just move on to some scenarios now. So first, let's say hello file modified in revision 7, and so that has been restored from revision 5. That's the first scenario. Okay, fine. Let's move on to second scenario. Now, in the previous case, we have seen the file is modified and it was restored. But what if the file is deleted? Okay, let's remove files. So before I remove files, always make sure your repository is local repository is up to date. So what if it is not up to date? So you'll be getting some conflicts. What is a conflict? We'll talk about that in after a couple of scenarios. Okay. Now, am I up to date? Yes, I'm up to date. Now let's see how to remove files. So let's remove a file, some hello file, SVN, remove, and then file name. That's the syntax. SVN remove and then file name. Enter. So what is the status? D. D means deleted. You can also check this command using status also. That is deleted. So what's next? Commit it. SVN commit -n. Let's say hello file deleted. Okay. Now it's been committed. Is the file deleted? Refresh. Yes, the file is deleted. Okay. Now, but how I can restore it? Correct. So back to revision 8, and then once you back to revision 8, so I can again restore that file. Okay. Okay. Let's see how do you do that. But firstly, let's switch to revision 8 first. Now we are in revision 8, but there is a message. What's the message is? Yeah, what is added? Hello file. Is it added or not? Yes, we have added. The file is added now. Okay. Then, so how to restore it? Take a backup. So just take a backup of it. Let's take a backup. And then what's next? SVN update. So in revision 9, so is the file is deleted or not? So that's why I don't have that file. Now take a backup of that file. So wherever the file is, just copy that file and restore it in revision 9. And what's next? What is the status of the file? Not yet added, right? So SVN commit. So file, let's say restore. No. So we are not added, right? It's added. Add it. Sorry, SVN add and then file name. And then let's try that commit. Now this is commit. So revision 10, refresh. We have revision 10. Okay, then we have 5. Now we have that 5. Okay. So hello file, that was our second scenario. So hello file removed in revision 9. Okay, and it's been restored from revision 10. Okay, sorry, revision 9 or 10. Okay, I think it's removed from revision and deleted. Okay, was restored from 8. Fine. So another scenario. So what if my, see, while we are committing it, so as I said, our repository always up to date. But what if it's not up to date? Let's try that now. Okay, or else, so your current revision on server is revision 10, but locally I'm not up to date with my server repository. So let's say I'm working in revision 6, revision 7, whatever the revision it is. So in those revisions, can I modify the files? Can I create files? Can I delete files? Okay, so let's move on to those scenarios. As of now, we have seen if your repository is up to date, you can restore the files, you can copy the files, of course you can do it. But what if my repository is not up to date? Can we still create files? Can we still remove files or modify the files? Okay, so try that now. So firstly, let's update my repository. Let's say revision something, whatever the revision it is, some revision 6. Okay, so which is out of date or not? Can you call it out of date? What is out of date? We are not up to date. Simple. So up to date means what's the current revision? Revision 10. So if you are not in current revision, which is revision 10, then you are called you're out of date. You are in out of date. Fine. So let's say SVN update to revision 6. Now we are out of date. Okay. Then, so while in revision 6, let's see first. Can I modify a file? Let's modify a file. Take that file, capital.txt file. Let's add some source code here. Hello, something like this. Save it. And then go with SVN. What's the status? Modified. And then commit. Let's say, so file modified in which revision? Revision 6. Is it committed? Yes. So even though my revision is not up to date locally, still I can commit the changes or not. I can modify it, I can commit it. Okay, fine. So let's try that. There is a repository. Check the repository, refresh, and then yes, we have the file. We have the data. So what is my current revision locally? Still 6 or 11? Locally. 6 or 11? 6. Again the same reason. Because commits will take place on server. Okay. Now being in revision 6 again, see, 1 second. Now, so take this scenario. If my repository is out of date, can I still modify a file? Yes, you can modify it, also you can commit it. Now, take another scenario. Let's say my repository is out of date again, still we are in revision 6. Now, if we are in revision 6, let's see, can we create files? Okay, so check it out whether our repository allows us to create files or not. So you can create some files wherever you like. Just create a file here. Let's say something like some file, some text file. So sample file. Next, SVN status. It's modified. Sorry, add it, not yet added. Then add it. SVN add. Sorry, the syntax we use it in actually Git. Now SVN add file name sample.txt and then SVN commit. Let's say sample file added. So is it committed or not? Yes, now that is committed. So to what revision? Revision 12. Refresh. Revision 12. We have file or not? Yes, then we have file. So even though if your repository is not up to date or if it is out of date, can we still create files? Yes. Okay. So now take another scenario. Again, we are out of date. Let's say our repository is out of date. Then can we remove files? Okay, let's see that. Remove files. Let's remove a file and let's take a file. Let's take a folder itself. Let's remove a folder. So far we have been working with files, right? Let's remove a folder. So to remove a folder, SVN, remove. Now it's deleted. See, look at here. So while the folder is deleted, even the files in that folder also deleted because it is always recursive. Because if we are removing that folder. Next, SVN commit. Let's say, what is that? Project folder. Let's say deleted. Let's delete. Revision 13. So should have been deleted anyway. Now it is deleted revision 13. So can we delete it? Yes, and then commit it. Okay, fine. Now, so this is something different. I'm still, let's say, in revision 6. Let's modify here. Let's modify hello file. And then we'll see whether it allows us to commit or not. So now will I be able to modify and commit? Yes. Okay, it's fine. That's my file. Adding some lines so some code here. Let's say something. So probably start. Some lines added. Fine. Save it. And next. So are we ready to commit? So kind of. Let's say file modify. Can I commit? Yes. Sorry. We add the file. No. Sorry. Changes are made in that file. Yeah, that's correct. Fine. Anyway, so that's correct. Now let's do it. So is it success? No, right? So why it's a failure? So let's go through errors. Let's go through errors first, then we'll identify why exactly we are going wrong. So firstly, it's sending some data to that file. Okay. So commit is a failure. Okay. So why the commit is failure? Because your hello.java file is out of date. So what is out of date? Okay, our local repository is not up to date as your server. Okay. Now, so what is the server repository revision is? Revision 13. Okay, let's say 13. And local it is revision 6. Can we call it out of date or not? Yes. So your local repository revision does not sync with your server repository revision is what we call not up to date. Okay. So if that is not up to date, then so why did allow us when I was modifying that other file, I was modifying capital.java file. While I was modifying that capital.java file, what was the revision number? Where is that example? Modify file. Sixth example. Look at here. So, sorry, that's not the one. Yeah, sorry, this is the one. So we modified a file, right? So what is that file name? Capital.java file. So why it allowed us to modify and commit it, but why it's not allowing us to modify this file? See the same example or not? Same example. Our repository revision is out of date in both examples. Revision 6 also in example 3, I mean scenario 3, also scenario 6. What's my repository revision number is 6. And then again there I was modifying hello capital file, and here I'm modifying hello file. But here I'm not able to commit it. Why? It's a failure. In between. Yeah, that's correct. Right? See, your local repository revision is revision 6. And whenever you commit it, so commit will be happening on revision 14 or not? Is it correct? Right. That is what is committing. Committing to revision 14. Now, in between revision 6 to revision 14, and the file was undergone with some more version controlling or not? So, in between these revisions, revision 7, revision 9, revision 10, the file was again modified it, deleted, restored. So, in between these revisions, your file has undergone with some operations. So that is reason it's not allowing us to do commit. Am I clear? So now tell me what is out of date now. What is out of date? See, look at that message. The message is regarding a hello.java file only is not out of date. It shows, see, is it for entire repository or only for the file? Look at that message. What is out of date? Hello file is out of date, right? Even here also you see that. What is out of date? File is out of date. Why file is out of date? Why not the repository? Because we are dealing with the file, right? So are we trying to modify the file or not? Yes. Since we are trying to modify the file, and then so that is reason the message is your file is out of date. If you try to modify some other files, and then the message would be that file has out of date. Okay. Now it is out of date. So now if that is out of date, now what is the solution then? Update it. That's correct. Let's update it. So how to update it? SVN update. Okay. But was it updated? No. So what is that message? The message is conflict in so and so file. So what is a conflict? I will just go through it. Now this is important. Please understand. So this is an important concept of repository. Let's understand what is a conflict. So what is my current revision is? Locally, revision 6. So modified some lines or not. Let's say I modify that hello file. Okay. Then committing it. Revision, let's say 14. But it's a failure. So why it's a failure? Error was out of date. Then what we have done? Update. But was it updated? There was a conflict. So what is the conflict now? So what is update means? What is update? Correct. Synchronizing or merging our local repository same as your server repository. So whenever you update it, all the files whatever available on your server will be replacing files on locally or not. Is it clear? Understand what is merging? That is what is update. Okay. If that is updated, then how about the modifications I have done locally? In my local repository, hello file has been modified or not? Yes, the file is being modified. But you're trying to update your local file. Am I going to lose the changes? Am I going to lose the changes? Okay, you understand the question, right? Fine. So if you update it, so see what is update means? Replacing all files of locally same as your server. That is what we call update. Okay, but if my file is updated locally same as server, then how about the changes I have done locally? See, for example, let's say copy paste. Okay, you're copying and pasting it. You're copying from folder 1 to folder 2. Then in folder 2, so all the files will be replaced or not? The same is what is updated. Then if I'm going to lose my changes, then what is the purpose of maintaining a repository? So this is what is said. So there should not be any data loss on your repository. But if I update it, am I going to lose the changes? So see, if your changes are deleted, it does not make any sense maintaining a repository. Right? So what is the purpose of maintaining a repository then? So your repository is not going to remove the data. So instead, so it is going to show that there is a conflict in that file. Now, what is the conflict now? So simply, conflict is nothing but, so a file is modified local repository, okay, which is out of date. But while you commit it, we're getting a message called it is out of date. So if it is out of date, I'm updating my repository. But repository update is a failure. Why? Why it's a failure now? If that is successfully committed, sorry, it has been successfully updated, then am I going to lose my changes locally or not? Yes. So simply updating my local repository, but update is a failure. So why it's a failure? Because if it is updated, I'm going to lose my changes on local repository. So repository is not going to remove the data on local repository. Instead, what it does, shows conflict. Now tell me what is conflict. See in that file, hello.java file, will I be able to see my changes still or not? Yes, you'll be able to see still, you're able to see your changes. Okay, and plus, what else you'll be able to see? You'll be able to see the changes of server-side repository, server-side file. So once I update it, in this file, which is hello.java file, I'm able to see local changes as well as server changes. If that happens, can I say that is it updated successfully? Is it updated successfully? No, right? So what is update means? What is update means? Yes, developer. So changes should be replaced. But are the changes replaced? No. So what happened then? It's maintaining local developer changes as well as server changes, which is what we call conflict. Understand? Is it clear? Fine. So, but how to resolve a conflict? So I'll take one more example, and I'll give you a solution in tomorrow's session. But so you understand what is a conflict then? Yeah. So you're trying to modify your local file, which is in this example, hello.java file. I modified it. So since it's not allowing me to commit it, so the reason is update, out of it. If there is out of it, we update it. Once we update it, there is a conflict. Now, what is a conflict? So your local file maintaining changes of local as well as remote or server. That is what we call conflict. But how to resolve a conflict? What is the solution? So this solution, I'll discuss that in tomorrow's session. But you understand the scenario? What is a conflict? Yes, that's what is a conflict. Okay. So now there are some solutions being provided here, and these solutions we'll discuss them tomorrow because we just look into one more scenario where we can expect a conflict. Okay, we'll take that scenario also, and then we'll discuss that solution. But as of now, I'm going solution with my own way. So, but if you have practice for today, if you have this kind of conflict, you just select that option called mark resolve. Okay, just try that. But what is that? We'll discuss that tomorrow. Now, so it says that conflict is resolved. Okay. Now let's commit it. SVN commit. Let's say file modified in revision success. Now check your repository. We have the changes or not? So back to your second rule. So did we lose the data? No, no data loss. So remember, your repository will never remove the data. So that will never happen. If that happened, then you have done something wrong. Okay. But how do we resolve this conflict? What is the solution? So I'll discuss the solution tomorrow's session in detail. So because tomorrow's session will take one more important example. See, so far we have been working only as one developer, right? But what if you have two developers? Let's say multiple developers, I mean. So I have multiple developers. They're trying to modify the same file. And whose changes will be committed? Developer 1 changes or developer 2 changes. So I'll discuss this example in tomorrow's session. And in this scenario also, we can expect a conflict. The same scenario, like what are the scenario we discussed? Scenario 6, and same scenario will be having conflict in tomorrow's session also. Sorry. Okay. So solution. So I'll give you solution tomorrow. Any questions?
Okay, we have SVN so
Sorry. Yeah. So if you talk about these revisions, I mean versions of SVN. So as of now, it's not. No one is using SVN subversion these days. It's all about Git or GitHub. Mostly GitHub, not even SVN or Git. So, sorry. So there's a reason actually because of architectural level differences. So I'll explain that later. But as of now, it's all about GitHub actually. GitHub has very kind of a advanced architecture, and which allows us and to have very less number of conflicts. If you go with SVN, you can expect more number of conflicts. But SVN, sorry, Git or GitHub will reduce our number of conflicts automatically. It is smart enough to do it. Okay. Anyway, we'll discuss that probably when we start with the architecture of DVCS. We'll compare the architectures, then we'll be more clear. Okay. So, but why we discuss subversion is, see the purpose why we discuss subversion is, so this purpose, scenarios. That is important. And these scenarios are common when you go to Git, GitHub, Bitbucket, or any kind of repository, TFS or Purpose. The scenarios are common, but the way how you run the commands are different. So if you go to GitHub or Git, we won't be using same command, right? We'll be using different commands, but the scenarios are same. And what do you mean by scenario? So when you expect a conflict and how to resolve a conflict, the steps and procedure is the same, but the commands are different. So if you're able to understand these scenarios are same even in Git or GitHub, or if you go to any kind of repository, right? So you should not get panic in interviews also. For example, I'm an interviewer. I'm going to ask a question on something like TFS, Purpose, or Bitbucket. So don't say that I don't have knowledge on that, but I know how to resolve this. I know the solution for this, but the commands are different. If you can explain the procedure, that's enough. So that is the reason we are discussing these scenarios. We'll be discussing the same scenarios even in Git and GitHub, the same scenarios. So I'll discuss some important scenarios, and rest of the scenarios in Git or GitHub you can practice from your side. Okay, I'll take the conflict part, but the rest of the scenarios I think you'll be able to do it from your side. Okay, so practice these 6 scenarios for today, and so other scenario, which is 7th scenario, and the solution we'll just talk about that in tomorrow's session. Okay, any more questions? And anyone have issues regarding you're not getting videos or anything, something like this? No? Right, thank you. Okay.